Hey guys, okay, so today we're gonna make some apple butter. I've already got my apples peeled and cored and they're in my crock pot. Don't they look delicious? Okay, and what's here is some apple cider vinegar, so I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then we're gonna do, whoops, sorry. We're gonna do a half a teaspoon of ground allspice. And half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Looks like I need to go get some more cinnamon. Now, normally apple butter recipes call for sugar, and that really is just to preserve the shelf life of your apple butter. But I think I'm going to go on more of the healthy side and not add any sugar. I think the apples are sweet enough as it is anyway. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to go ahead and do no sugar, get some sweet apples. I have Gala apples in here. And if you want to add sugar to it and maybe have a longer shelf life instead of a shorter version, then go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar or whatever sweetener substitute you want, like honey or coconut sugar or something like that. And go ahead and add that in there too. This is on high and it's going to cook for 4 hours with the lid on. Oh, and there's a half a cup of water in there too, just so the apples don't stick on the bottom. And then we'll be back for the rest of the steps later. Okay guys, we're at the next step for our apple butter. I took it out and I blended it in my blender. You start off at the lowest setting in your blender and then you go up probably 3 steps and blend it until it's nice and smooth, just like this. Okay, and now it's like really creamy applesauce. It's not quite ready yet to be butter. So I'm gonna cook it for another 30 minutes to an hour, and then it should be nice and thick. And if you want it thicker, cook it longer. If you want it thinner, then take it out. But there you go, apple butter in a nutshell. It's awesome. Hey guys, okay, so apples do have a high enough acidity level to be canned in a water bath. So what I've done is I've taken my jars and I've washed them in hot soapy water first, and then I've placed them in this big old pot of water, and they've been simmering for about 10 minutes. You have to put something down there so that the glass doesn't break. So I've got this like steamer dealio and like a little metal piece to kind of give it some stability, because I don't have one of those fancy canning things. So I kind of made it up. So now they've been simmering for 10 minutes, so we're going to take them out. I'm going to push you down here for a second. Alright, let's get rid of the water. Trying to pour the water back. There we go. Cool. So we've got this really super hot glass now. It's very slippery. We'll pour the rest out. Okay, so we're going to take this over here. Whoops. I guess you should come with me. Okay, So I've got my jar down here. And now we're going to fill it up. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to take one of these, the part of the lid, and I'm just going to put it back on. This way I won't have to wipe the edge once the apples are in. So I've got this little handy dandy thing. I'm just going to rinse it off real quick just to make sure there's no yuckies on it, like dust or whatnot. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, let's get a spoon. Got a little ladle. Okay. So let's fill our jar. Alright. As we fill this, you want to make sure you leave about 2 inches up at the top. So you see I've left some room. Okay. So I'm going to take that off now. And then I've also been simmering the lid part in water for the same amount of time, for about 10 minutes. And what that does is it activates the seal, so it'll seal properly. So I'm just going to take this little magnet guy and pull one of these out. Okay. Get that on there. It's not too hot. And then take the lid. And you don't want to screw it on too tight. You just want it finger tight until you feel some resistance. That way, all the air that's trapped inside can still escape. Okay, so then we're gonna take our jar with all our awesomeness, and we're gonna put it back in the water. And then we're going to bring the temperature up to a boil and boil them for 10 minutes. So the reason why we had to simmer these is so that the glass doesn't break when we put it back in the nice hot water. So I'm going to go do that right now, and then it'll have a perfect, sealed jar. And the way to test seal, when you take it out, you let it cool, like put it on a towel and on the counter and let it cool for 12 to 24 hours. And then all you have to do is take your finger and pop it. You hear how it pops? That would be a bad seal. But if you do that and it doesn't pop, that means you have a perfectly good seal. Another way to test it would be to take this rim off and then lightly pull up on the lid part. And if it comes off really easily, then you have a bad seal. And then you can just put it in the fridge and use it within like a week or 2, or you can put it in the freezer for up to a year. So that's canning apples, or apple butter. Hope you guys enjoy it.